On this episode of The Outdoors with Rich, we're going to be talking about all this gear that you may want to have with you, whether you're going out to the park for the day to cook up a nice meal, or you're going full-blown camping for 2 or 3 days out in the middle of nowhere. Now, depending on your vehicle, your situation, do you live in the extreme cold, the extreme heat? That's going to play a role on whether or not you can carry this with you at all times. But this is the stuff that I think you're going to want to have at the ready to be able to go out on your next adventure. Keep it in your car, keep it in your truck, keep it in a tub, keep it in a laundry basket. But having the items and having it ready is the key. All right, guys, so the first thing is some simple utensils. Tongs, spatula, spoon. This one's kind of optional, a ladle. Maybe you bring it sometimes, maybe you don't. All these are metal because I'm mostly using the iron skillet. But I do have one plastic one for my non-stick pan. Something a lot of people forget is just a good old can opener. Now put this in however you want, but what I do is I just keep it in one of these little drawstring bags. It tightens up and then it's ready to just throw back in my truck. All right, let's talk about a little bit of the basic. Obviously, I think everybody would know to have some paper towels with you. I carry some aluminum foil, some plasticware. If you don't like the plastic and you want to have, some utensils you bring with you that you wash, so be it. We do that with our cups. We got these cool little Buc-ee's cups that we carry with us and we just wash. And then of course, some paper plates. Oh, looks like we have some birds here. Hey guys. No, we don't have any food yet. We might cook something in a little bit. Let's talk about coffee. Now you saw in one of my last videos, I keep my coffee in one of these little, it's a, what was in here? Sunflower seeds, Planters sunflower seeds, and I just repurposed it for some coffee. Look, you can even shove the spoon inside. So for coffee, I'm either gonna cook on the campfire, I'm gonna use my little portable stove, or I'm gonna use my bigger stove. I guess I'll show you that in a second. But almost always, I'm gonna heat up my water in a little kettle. I have this cool little filter. It's made by Coffee Brew Buddy. This filter is great for putting however many scoops of coffee inside, pouring your hot water right through, right into your cup. Now, when we're talking about coffee, don't forget the other members of your family. For example, every now and then, I like to have some tea. Wait, we're gonna have tea? Well, if we're gonna have tea, then I gotta have honey. Carry that with you if you want. Wait a minute, Ricky's coming? Cheyenne's coming? Well, we better get our hot cocoa. Make a list of all these things if you need to. Thank you for your help, by the way, with all this camera work, babe. I know I'm being a complete pain in the butt. All right, let's talk about water. It doesn't really matter which jug you carry, but I would carry at least 5 gallons of water. You could have 5 little store-bought gallons in your car, that's fine. We can cook out of it, we can make coffee out of it, we can do dishes out of it. The things I'm sharing with you, you have to factor in. Is this just you? Are you often traveling with your family? I wouldn't try to separate and carry things when you got the whole family and change it up a whole lot. I carry 4 containers. Here's 2 of the Stanley Cups. They've got measurement on the side. I can cook right on the fire. I'm carrying for a family of 4 almost always. I may leave a couple chairs back home if I know it's just me and my wife, but I don't start nitpicking my kit just because it's me and my wife and my son and Cheyenne isn't coming on this trip, or are we bringing our dog or not? The idea is to have most of your stuff ready at all times. These products are by Opinel. I love them. This is a cool little folding potato peeler, vegetable peeler, and it folds up and goes right in my box. This is one of my favorite knives. It's the Opinel No. 10. This is just a cool little knife, not a very thick spine, but it's razor sharp and it's great for cutting food, slicing vegetables, or cutting up your steak with it. So when it comes to some food items, obviously you can't keep certain things with you at all times, but I would try to find some products. I love ramen and these Mountain House type meals to just kind of keep in the truck at all times. You never know when you want to pull over and say, hey, let's make up a quick meal. So much better than pulling into a fast food restaurant. And stick around because I'm gonna save my favorite segment for the very end. It's my favorite part of camping, especially when the sun goes down. Now some other items, since we're talking about camping trips, I'm always gonna keep my bushcraft knife. So this knife has a really thick spine, which is great for batoning wood and using a ferro rod. I can carry it with me in a case. I always wanna have some cordage. That's 550 cord. I've got a hatchet, and I've got my folding saw. And if you ask Jen, this is the most important item of the entire trip. Don't forget your toilet paper. Don't forget to keep extra of these tanks. You may not need one this big, but don't forget a cutting board.
And don't forget the fishing rod.
So another item is don't forget your trash bags. We like to use just our grocery bags that we get from the grocery store.
All right, I told you I was gonna get to my favorite segment, and here it is, it's lighting. When it comes to camping or just being out in the great outdoors, my favorite thing is lighting. Now we're in the daylight, so showing you this stuff isn't gonna give you the same effect, but I wanted to show you the gear I carry in my truck. My first two items I'm gonna show you, I have this little lantern. It's nice for right here on the table, you're cutting up some onions, something like that, or you've got your plate of food, it's right next to you, maybe it's just yourself. This little thing, even though it doesn't look very bright, does a good job of lighting up the area it's right next to. Another thing you can do, you could hang these on the hatch of your SUV. You find them in the part of the hardware in the section where they have the stuff to hang picture frames and stuff like that. Where those hooks come in handy, get you a little carabiner. You can hang your light up if you want it to light up your cooking area or whatever you're doing on your tailgate. I got another little light. Now this thing works on a few different settings. You can dim it, brighten it, that sort of thing. But check this out. I put some Velcro on the back and I've got various places on my truck where I can just hang it. When you're done with it, you pull it down, turn it off, and if you've got any carpet area inside your vehicle, that Velcro will stick right there. I always carry a rechargeable headlamp. Speaking of rechargeable, I carry a battery pack with me. It can do the regular USB or the USB-C or the older one, the one that looks shaped funny. Don't forget, if you got Androids and Apples in your family, make sure you've got a wire for both. And now perhaps one of my favorite items I have in my entire truck. If you're gonna carry a battery pack, get you one of these lights. I'll make sure the link is in the description. It plugs in on a USB. You can even turn it on and off. It's got a hook on it. And guess what? I got another one of those hooks right over there. I've got my light going at all times. If I needed two lights, I could put my carabiner on this one and have this one up here. I could have another light inside and I'm good to go. Unless, of course, I need to step up and also have my headlamp. Put you some Velcro on the back, and as long as you've got that carpet in your vehicle, it'll stick right there. The Velcro works with all kinds of stuff. Here's a little clothespin, a little piece of Velcro. Boom. Need to carry a lighter with you at all times. Velcro. Boom. These things stay there, guys.
Don't forget your cooler. And if you're like Rich, don't forget to watch your head.
So you heard me mention my knife. I use it with a Ferro Rod. What's a Ferro Rod? It's something you can use to start a fire. When all else fails and everything's wet, you can still always turn to this to help you start a fire. I also carry these. These help me start a fire, whether it's wet, raining, windy, regardless of what's going on. These things are awesome. Now the packaging you saw me take it out of, that was just something I vacuum sealed. Break these open, get that nice cottony part exposed. Then you use your Ferro Rod to create a spark right onto this. These things are awesome. I carry them in my backpack. I carry them in the boat to make fires on the beach. I carry them in my truck. They're from Black and White Fire Starters. One thing that's going to help you remember the core basics are the 5 C's of survival. You remember what they are?
Yes.
The way I remember them is two things kind of go together. It's combustion and container. What do I mean by that? Combustion is the ability to light a fire. We talked about a ferro rod and we used the lighter earlier. Those are two forms of combustion. Why do we want a container? We want to be able to collect water and boil it for safety purposes. So combustion and container go together. So the other 3 C's go together like this. You're going to need some cordage. What's cordage? Rope, twine, string, something like that. I love 550 cord. The fourth C that goes together with the cordage, to be able to cut it, you're gonna need a cutting tool. Wait, what's the last one? You remember?
You forgot cover, Dad.
Yes, we need a cover. What does that mean? Come on, I'll show you. So to check that box, I've got my 10 by 10 tarp. Don't forget your first aid kit. I like to build my own, and therefore I know exactly what's in it. You need something?
No, I'm good.
Oops. Just kidding.